Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren O'Quinn with Trajectory on Location. Joining me now is a familiar face to the GEOINT community. I'm speaking, of course, of Lieutenant General Mary Legere, Managing Director of the National Security and Intelligence Sector at Accenture. Hi Mary, welcome.
Well, good afternoon, it's great to be here.
It's great to see you again.
Thanks.
So we know Accenture is a strong supporter of USGIF, and we're always excited to see you here at the symposium. What do you think are the top trends in technology and innovation that NGA needs to be paying attention to?
Well, first and foremost, it's just great to be back. There's so much excitement on the floor, and as you said, Accenture's been a long time sponsor because every year I think it's important for this community to come together and to hear from the leadership that is trying to execute these kind of capabilities for the nation of what's top of mind, what are the things we're worried about. So there's some consistent themes that we're hearing. The explosion of data continues to be a focus, and as Accenture did global research to say, is everybody worried about that? Well, certainly they are. And specifically what leaders are worried about today is in terms of data is not just how to deal with it, but how to secure it, ensure it's, make sure that it's valid, there's some validity behind it, the lineage is correct, and then have a workforce that candidly can deal with the volume, velocity of the data that they're seeing. So that's probably the first trend, and that's a continuation. The second one that I'm always interested in, because I've listened throughout my career to cranky commanders who couldn't get access to data, is the accessibility of data across multiple domains. Now, tomorrow, or sometime this week, we're going to have a great conversation about JADC and the Joint All-Domain environment and what the leaders of Department of Defense and the intel community are doing to harmonize data that is available in the sea, space, air, ground, and cyber domains. If we think about that, it's complex. But as a nation, and when we defend our national interests, we have to be able to go into those spaces. So lots of effort there, and from the perspective of ensuring that data for decision makers, that they can see effects that are happening on the ground as well as in cyber simultaneously, so they can combine, if there's combined effects, they recognize that. And then related very closely to that is just this trend toward interoperability. Interoperability and integration in our own lives. Everything about our house is connected to our cell phone, and there is this idea of an IC, Internet of Things, and a military and defense Internet of Things, and it has incredible promise when we think of bringing sensors and other people's data to command post, but it also has tremendous risk and complication when we think about the security of that and who would access it. And so those are the three things: data, interoperability, accessibility. Those are the things that I'm sort of interested in, and I think they're consistent themes as we walk the floor.
You mentioned cyber. What about cyber, which, as you know, has radically changed over the past decade?
Yeah, when I think about what life was like when we had cyber discussions as senior intelligence officer and what the NGA directors of the past would be concerned about, there was always concern that everything that we do here needs to be protected. But the space is so much more contested today, whether it's criminal actors, whether it's state or non-state actors. Everything that this agency, this geospatial community thinks about has to begin with security as an absolute essential ingredient, not something bolted on. So what you see in the conversations on the floor here at GEOINT and what you're hearing all the time is, how do we proactively and aggressively defend where we trust no one inside our networks? And so the idea of zero trust, the idea of moving our data in places where it can be actively defended with AI-enabled cyber defensive tools. And thinking about how do we move from defending at the perimeter of our neighborhood to actively defending every part of the data that's critically important to our mission. Not all data is equal, but those that that data that is important needs to be protected. So what I'm really encouraged of as somebody that's been a customer of NGA as the G2 of the Army, an advisor to NGA, and now as a supporter from Accenture Federal, is how seriously the leaders are engaging the community to look for the best solutions.
We all know Accenture has experience running large commercial and federal data centers, including NGA's interim transition capability data center during its transition to NCE. From your perspective as someone who's led organizations on both government and commercial sides, what are the benefits of bringing commercial innovation to government?
Well, I think Admiral Sharp and I think the Principal Deputy, Dr. Dixon, said it. What they're looking for is solutions that have been proven at scale. In the time that we have available, which isn't much, in order to bring advanced solutions to the government to help them stay ahead of the threats. We don't have time to experiment on, as I like to say, the government's dime when I was there. So you look for commercial partners that can come and confidently say, look, we've done this tens of hundreds of times, thousands of times, at a scale that is similar to your own. Also, we understand the complexity of bringing commercial solutions over the transom into this environment, because you want to be wary of those that will say, well, I'll go get that, I'll go to the store and pick that up and bring it in. If they haven't done it commercially, and then they haven't experienced the complexity of a Department of Defense or IC information environment, then they're really kind of setting you up for some, you're setting the agency up for some stalls that they can't afford. So I think commercial partners that have experience in the kinds of advanced technologies that you are envisioning, particularly as you're driving to digital, is really important. And it's important to make the distinction between those who have been there to build the most magnificent weapons platforms in the world and connected those sensors to processing centers, to those that have been integrating information technologies to connect those systems. And we have a little bit of an identity problem sometimes in ensuring that government leaders can make that distinction. But I think it is fair to ask, when you're bringing commercial technology, the government looks at you and said, where have you done this before commercially? How do you differentiate? And then where have you done this in the federal government? Because our stuff's a little more complicated. And if you get those kinds of answers, then you feel like you're at a better start point.
Accenture is one of the largest ServiceNow users and integrators in the world. How are you using that to bring automation and improved user experience to government?
Yeah, I think I've sort of put a pin on it. Accenture is one of the leading companies that does digital transformation in the world. And the kinds of modern platforms, transitioning our clients to commercial clouds or hybrid clouds, helping them get their arms around their data, helping them down select the right modern platform that works in the environment that they're in, helping them then connect that to data, insight services. If they have a data core like NGA, okay, it's the playground and it creates an environment for them to work with their mission or business data. If they don't have the mature data core, or their data core isn't large enough, or they need more data engineers, bringing those types of things in. Not just doing it for the sake of digital transformation because it sounds great, but for mission and business effect. So when you think about the road that NGA has been on with ServiceNow as a platform that is approved in the IC to be used at multiple levels of security and provides the ability to bring together multiple business and mission functions, it's a fantastic product, but it also requires design, thoughts of how the users need it, an experience with users to understand what outputs are they trying to bring. So technology for technology's sake is not really the answer. The platform for the platform's sake, it's bringing in a company like Accenture that will connect the people, process, technology, governance, and talent necessary to get the effect that you're looking for. So we're proud of the journey we've been on with NGA, and really the leading position it's taken to bring in a modern platform, better defensible, more easily adjusted and adapted. So we're excited they're making these choices, and we're excited to be their partner in that effort.
Mary, thanks as always for your expertise and your time. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.